Welcome to Wild Dreams, the place where the natural world drifts quietly through the night, and your mind can float with it. Before we begin, tell us, where are you in the world right now? And what time is it where you are? We love knowing how far these dreams travel. If you enjoy falling asleep to the wonders of nature, don't forget to subscribe. Now, take a slow breath. Let the tide of sound carry you as we sink below the surface into a world that never truly sleeps. This is the secret lives of sharks. Beneath the silver light of a rising moon, the ocean stretches out like a living mirror. The surface glimmers and folds, calm above, but beneath it, an ancient world begins to stir. Down here, in the cold depths off the coast of South Africa, a shadow moves, slow, deliberate, and utterly silent. It is a shape older than the trees on land, older than the mountains that break the horizon. A predator, yes, but also a traveler, a solitary wanderer who has roamed the seas for more than 400 million years. She is a great white shark, nearly 5 meters long, sleek as a torpedo, built for endurance. Her world is a boundless blue plain where the only constant is movement. As night falls, she glides just below the surface, following faint currents that whisper across her skin. Tiny electric sensors along her snout, called ampullae of Lorenzini, read the faint pulses of life hidden in the dark. Every heartbeat of a fish, every twitch of muscle, every flicker of motion beneath the waves. To her, it all glows like invisible light. Above, the moonlight ripples through water like smoke. Below, the cold currents rise from the abyss, heavy, rich with oxygen, filled with the scent of life. The great white circles slowly, tasting the water. A seal colony lies miles away, but she can smell it. A faint trace carried by the shifting tides. For her, scent is not a direction. It's a story. It tells her what lives here, what passed by, and what's waiting beyond the next swell. She moves on. No rush, no urgency. Only the steady, patient rhythm of a hunter who has seen 1,000 nights just like this. Far below, a school of mackerel moves like liquid metal. Each fish mirrors the other, flashing silver, turning in perfect unison. They sense something approaching. The water tightens with tension. The shark doesn't lunge. She angles downward, deeper, disappearing into shadow. To the mackerel, the danger seems to pass. They relax. Then from below she rises, a burst of speed, silent and exact. In less than a second, the school scatters like sparks from a flame. One fish, unlucky, never sees her coming. A flash of white, a rush of bubbles, and it's over. The great white's jaws close with enough force to crack bone, but she's careful. One quick shake, and the water stills again. No drama, no frenzy, just the quiet efficiency of a creature evolved to perfection. As she feeds, smaller fish gather, pilotfish and remoras, drawn by the leftovers. They dart around her belly, cleaning scraps from her skin. It's a partnership, ancient, delicate, and surprisingly peaceful. Even the most formidable predator carries companions who depend on her. When she's done, the shark drifts downward, her body carried by the weight of the sea. In the dark, her white underside fades to silver, then vanishes entirely. The ocean is both her camouflage and her cradle. She's not mindless, far from it. Each decision, each movement is a quiet calculation. Where the current flows, where the water warms, where life stirs. To survive here is to listen, not with ears, but with the whole body. It's hard to imagine this calm predator as vulnerable. Yet she too must rest, not in the way we do. Sharks never fully sleep. They drift, their eyes open, their muscles softening as they glide on slow autopilot. Their world continues around them, waves above, moonlight shifting, plankton glowing like stars. For a moment, the sea becomes still. Only her heartbeat, deep and patient, echoes through the water. Then, a flick of her tail, and she moves again, pulled by instinct toward the horizon. In her lifetime, this single shark may cross entire oceans, from South Africa to Australia, from the cool currents of California to the warmth of the Pacific Islands. Some swim thousands of miles each year, tracing invisible highways of temperature and tide. No one taught them these routes. They're written deep within, encoded by millions of years of migration. Scientists have tracked great whites diving nearly a kilometer deep into black, freezing water where light has never touched. Why they do it remains a mystery, perhaps to hunt or rest, or simply to feel the pull of the planet itself. A flash of silver catches the moonlight. Near the surface, a group of dolphins arcs through the waves, laughing their bright, sharp laughter. The great white senses them, feels the electrical pulse of their motion. But she turns away. She's not hunting now. In this vast ocean, encounters are rare and fleeting. A single shark may travel for weeks without seeing another of her kind, and yet they are never truly alone. Every heartbeat in the sea, every echo of movement, connects them to a living network older than time itself. Soft pause. The tone slows further, gentle, hypnotic. The water cools as the night deepens. Above, clouds drift across the moon. Below, the shark's shadow merges with the sea. In the distance, the faint glow of plankton begins to shimmer. Tiny organisms pulsing with light, as if the stars themselves have sunk beneath the surface. Each spark is a living being, glowing for a heartbeat before fading into dark. Together, they form rivers of light, a quiet, cosmic dance, just for those who swim among them. The great white glides through the bioluminescent haze, her outline illuminated for a moment in blue fire. A ghost, drifting through galaxies of her own creation, she doesn't know she's beautiful. But the ocean does. Music shifts, slow, ethereal tones, ocean stillness. Soon the dawn will rise over the horizon, but the sea never sleeps. While she moves, others wake, creatures of the reef, of the deep, of the shimmering shallows. As the great white turns east, the water around her begins to lighten. The first rays of morning sun pierce through. Tracing silver lines across her fins, she follows the current, steady as the tide, toward new waters. Narrator lowers voice, barely above a whisper. In this endless blue world, she is one of many. Each shark, a traveler of its own realm. Some tiny, no longer than your hand. Others vast as whales, feeding on the smallest things alive. Together, they keep the ocean breathing. And so our journey continues, deeper into their hidden lives. The current carries her forward, past the shifting edge where the cold blue of the open sea begins to melt into warmer waters. Here, life grows dense and colorful. Corals rise like cities, every shape alive with movement, every surface breathing. The great white moves slower now, her journey fading behind her as the reef awakens to its own rhythm. Small fish flash in clouds of color. The hum of the ocean changes, soft and crackling. The sound of countless tiny mouths feeding, snapping, whispering through the coral maze. In the shadows below, other shapes drift between the pillars of coral. Sleek bodies, smaller, quicker. Black-tip reef sharks gliding with effortless grace. Their bodies ripple with stripes of moonlight, their eyes black and steady. They move in groups, unlike the solitary white shark who roam the open deep. Here, among the reefs, the world is closer, tighter, alive with pulse and sound. Each shark traces a path through the coral as if it knows every turn. They move not with fear, but with purpose, their senses tuned to the heartbeat of the reef. They can feel the electricity of sleeping fish hidden beneath ledges and the slow rhythmic flutter of rays resting in the sand. When a reef shark turns, its skin flashes silver for an instant, reflecting the glow of plankton suspended in the shallows. These sharks are smaller, rarely more than 2 meters long, but they are masters of precision. They do not charge, they weave. Every motion is measured, every turn exact, their tails cutting gentle crescents through the water. Above them, the surface ripples in the soft light of the moon. Below, a parrotfish drifts into the open, its scales glinting in colors almost too bright for the night. The shark notices, but only watches. The fish is not weak, not injured, not part of the story tonight. The shark moves on, leaving the reef quiet once more. The ocean is patient, and so are its hunters. As the night deepens, the reef transforms. Creatures hidden by day rise from their shelters. Octopuses unfurl from crevices, their arms moving like silk. Small shrimp flash their claws with invisible speed, sending tiny snaps through the water. In the distance, a moray eel slides from its den, its jaw opening and closing in slow rhythm, tasting the night and weaving among them. The sharks continue their patrol, steady, unhurried, ancient. Near the edge of the reef, where the seafloor drops into darkness, a lone grey reef shark pauses in the water. It hangs motionless, nose into the current, allowing the oxygen-rich flow to pass through its gills. Sharks cannot stop moving completely, but they have learned to rest like this, in the gentle stream of the ocean's breath. Its eyes half close, its body still. The reef glows faintly with bioluminescent specks, like distant stars scattered beneath the surface. Not far away, a small white-tipped reef shark slips into a narrow cave. Unlike most sharks, she can lie almost still, pumping water across her gills as she rests. Around her, the walls shimmer with the reflected lights of tiny creatures drifting by. White-tips are creatures of the night. While larger hunters rule the open sea, these smaller sharks weave through coral corridors no wider than their own bodies, their slender forms built for the labyrinth. In the shallows above, moonbeams bend through waves and fall in ribbons across the sand. Tiny crabs emerge from their burrows. A sea turtle glides past, heading for the beach where, hours from now, the tide will rise to meet the shore. The reef hums softly, alive with movement too small to see. Farther out, near the drop-off, a nurse shark rests upon the sand. Its body is thick and heavy, its tail curling gently. Unlike most of its kin, it can truly pause, pulling water through its mouth and over its gills without swimming. It dreams, perhaps, of slow pursuits through clouded water, of coral caves and sunlit shallows. Its skin, rough as sandpaper, is mottled with gold and brown. Around its head, cleaner wrasse dance in flickers of blue, picking parasites from its skin. It barely moves, only its gills whispering, a low, constant sigh. Every creature in this reef knows its place. The sharks hunt what they must, but they are not destroyers. They keep the balance, taking the old, the weak, the wounded. Because of them, the reef remains strong, renewed, alive. Without its hunters, it would fall silent, overrun, choking in stillness. The ocean, even in its calmest hour, relies on the quiet precision of its predators. As dawn approaches, the faintest light reaches the reef. Colors begin to sharpen. The corals bloom into reds, greens, purples, golds. Schools of fish drift from their hiding places, filling the water with a shimmer of motion. The sharks retreat to the deeper ledges, their pale undersides gliding through the fading dark. Above, the sky blushes with light, and the sea turns from indigo to turquoise. But the day belongs to others now. The sharks drift into deeper shadows, their movements slowing, their forms fading into the blue. Even as they rest, their senses remain open, feeling every tremor, every sound. They are part of the ocean's rhythm, never apart from it. Miles away, beyond the reef, the sea darkens once again. The sunlight fades with depth, until the blue turns to violet, then to black. This is a different world entirely, the twilight zone. Few have seen it, and fewer still understand it. Here, the pressure is immense, the cold absolute. But even here, the sharks endure. In the dim green glow of a world without sun, stranger creatures drift, lanternfish flicker with light. Squid undulate in clouds of ink. From the shadows comes a form unlike the sleek hunters above. Long, pale, with a snout that juts like a blade. The goblin shark. It moves with slow, deliberate grace, its translucent skin revealing veins and muscle beneath. It has lived unchanged for millions of years, a ghost from a time when dinosaurs ruled the land. Its jaw can spring forward faster than thought, snatching prey in the pitch dark, yet for most of its life it drifts quietly, feeding on the small and the slow, waiting for the rare moment when it must strike. Deeper still, beyond where light can reach, the water grows heavy with silence. A faint glow pulses from the body of a lantern shark, no longer than a human arm. Its belly shines softly with blue light, hiding its shadow from predators below. Some glow in patterns that match the faint gleam of the surface far above, a camouflage of light in a world without it. Here, in the midnight zone, even sound seems to vanish. And yet, sharks thrive. The frilled shark coils like a serpent, its body ancient, its gills flaring like petals. The cookie-cutter shark, small but fearless, ascends from below to feed on giants, whales, dolphins, even submarines, biting perfect circles of flesh before vanishing into the dark. Each one, no matter how strange, is a link in the ocean's endless chain. They move through the dark as stars move through space, alone, yet together, connected by the same invisible gravity of life. Somewhere above, currents shift once more. Warm water sweeps in from the equator, carrying clouds of plankton. The deep-dwelling sharks drift upward, following the scent of life. The sea brightens, the color returning, and in the shallows ahead, giants wait. The water grows lighter as the dark gives way to blue. Tiny flecks drift upward, glowing in the shafts of sunlight that pierce the surface like columns of gold. Each particle is alive, a fragment of plankton, the invisible foundation of all life here, where the ocean blooms with them. Giants gather, slowly, the shape of one appears, vast and gentle, its shadow gliding across the light. It is the whale shark, the largest fish on earth, a creature so enormous it could swallow a car whole. Yet it feeds only on the smallest beings in the sea. Its mouth, wide as a door, opens to let the ocean flow through, sieving plankton and krill from the water. Inside, thousands of tiny filters trap life as it drifts, with every breath, with every slow beat of its tail. The whale shark feeds in rhythm with the sea itself. Its skin is patterned in constellations, pale dots against deep blue, like the night sky brought to life beneath the surface. No two are the same. Each shark carries a unique map of stars across its back. As it glides, remoras cling to its sides, sheltering from the current, feeding on its leftovers. Small fish follow in its wake, protected by its size, as if the sea itself gathers around it for safety. The whale shark does not rush. It moves through the water like a drifting island, its great mouth opening and closing in slow, endless motion. Rays of sunlight slide across its body as it rises toward the surface, breaking through into a world of glittering waves. The water here is warm, clear, full of life. Schools of tuna streak by, flashing silver in the light. Above, seabirds dive, spearing through the air in perfect silence, before striking the water and vanishing into bubbles. The ocean is alive from surface to depth, each layer breathing in time with the others. Far across the sea, another giant moves with the same gentle rhythm. The basking shark, smaller than the whale shark but still immense. Its body drifts through the cool northern waters, mouth open wide like a great sail. It too feeds on plankton, filtering thousands of liters of water every hour as it glides near the surface. Its gills flare like wings, vast slits that pulse with the ocean's movement. Despite its size, it is harmless, calm, and ancient. Its ancestors swimming the seas long before humans first drew breath. In the calm of late afternoon, the sea turns gold. The basking shark's fin cuts a smooth line through the water, glinting in the sun. To those who see it from above, it might look like something menacing, a shadow of a hunter. But below the surface, it is almost serene, its enormous eye half-lidded, its body swaying gently with the swell. Tiny fish gather beneath its fins, sheltered from predators by the presence of the giant. It carries them across miles of ocean without knowing, without caring. The giants travel great distances each year, following the invisible trails of plankton blooms. Scientists believe they can sense the chemical changes in the water, reading the invisible signals of life carried by the currents. Some follow these trails for thousands of miles, crossing from one hemisphere to another, timing their journeys with the turning of the planet. They are nomads of the open blue, living maps of migration, tracing the ocean's pulse with every slow beat of their tails. Below them, other sharks move unseen. The mako, the oceanic white-tip, the silky shark, all glide through the same waters, their smaller forms cutting paths that intersect and separate like threads in a vast tapestry. Each species has its way of living, its rhythm of hunt and rest, its own sense of the world around it. Some chase schools of fish through open water at speeds no human swimmer could dream of. Others drift along the deep edges, waiting for the faintest sign of weakness. Together, they form the balance that keeps the sea alive. The whale shark drifts on. Its movements are so slow that time itself seems to stretch around it. As it passes through a bloom of plankton, the water thickens with life, each particle shimmering with faint color. The shark opens its mouth and glides forward, taking in the sea like a breath. The plankton bloom glows faintly, touched by sunlight, and for a moment the ocean becomes a living cloud of gold. When the shark closes its mouth, the bloom scatters, settling once more into stillness. Far below, a school of manta rays sweeps past, their wings undulating like silk. They too feed on plankton, looping and turning in slow circles that trace luminous spirals through the water. The rays and the whale shark share the same feast, moving without competition, their bodies passing within arm's length, perfectly at peace. They have done this for millions of years, long before any human eyes ever watched. The day deepens toward evening. The light grows softer, the sea a vast sheet of shifting color. The whale shark begins to descend once more, following the cooling water. Around it, the sounds of the surface fade. No more splashing birds, no more churning waves. Only the heartbeat of the deep remains, the steady pulse of the ocean. The shark's fins move slowly, evenly, a rhythm that seems almost meditative. It is not going anywhere in particular. It simply moves because that is what the sea asks of it. Elsewhere, in colder waters, the basking shark does the same. As the sun sinks behind distant cliffs, its silhouette fades into the dimming sea. For a moment, only its dorsal fin remains visible, cutting across the last light of the horizon. Then even that vanishes, swallowed by the dark. The giants have fed enough for now. They drift into deeper calm, following the ocean's lullaby. Night returns, the sea cools, and the stars reappear above, reflected in the water. From below, the light of the moon trembles through the waves, falling across the backs of drifting sharks like silver rain. Somewhere beneath, the whale shark rests near the thermocline, where warm and cold waters meet in a quiet shimmer. Tiny bioluminescent plankton light its outline with a faint halo. It does not hunt, it does not feed, it simply floats, its heartbeat slow, steady, and ancient. The ocean seems infinite here. There is no horizon, no noise, no weight of time. Just water and life, suspended together in perfect stillness. The whale shark's great eye turns slowly, catching the light of the moon, as if reflecting the memory of the surface world. For a moment, the sea feels like the sky, and the sky like the sea, each mirroring the other in quiet harmony. And as the night deepens, far beyond the range of this gentle giant, the world of sharks continues. In hidden coves and river mouths, in dark trenches and restless surf, other hunters stir, some move with the tides into waters. No shark should enter, driven by instincts that defy boundaries. The ocean is vast, but not endless, and there are sharks who have learned to cross the lines between salt and fresh, between river and sea, between danger and discovery. Where the ocean meets the land, the water changes, the salt thins, the color softens, and the sound of the waves gives way to the low hum of rivers merging with the sea. Here, in this strange meeting place, the water carries the scent of both worlds. Mangroves rise like roots of the earth reaching back toward the sky, their tangled limbs sheltering countless lives. Small fish flicker in the shallows, feeding where the currents mix. And among them moves a shape that seems out of place, a shadow of the open sea venturing where few others dare. It is a bull shark. Her body moves easily through the brown-green water, untroubled by the shift from salt to fresh. Few sharks can manage this. Most would falter as their bodies struggle to balance the change. But the bull shark is different. Inside her, a quiet chemistry adjusts with precision, allowing her to glide from ocean to river and back again without pause. She is the wanderer between worlds, the predator of two realms. The river is calm tonight, smooth as glass under the pale reflection of the moon. The shark moves beneath it like a ghost. Fish scatter at her passing, their scales catching stray beams of light as they vanish into the reeds. She does not chase them. She is exploring, following the faint scent of life carried from far upstream. Each turn brings new sounds. The creak of water against mangrove roots, the murmur of crabs scuttling in the mud, the echo of something large stirring in the shallows. She has travelled this route before, perhaps years ago, perhaps in another season. Some bull sharks return to the same rivers again and again, drawn by the memory written in the currents. They have been found hundreds of kilometers from the sea, swimming beneath bridges and cities, hidden beneath the quiet surface of human life. No one above would guess that a creature of the open ocean drifts so near. In the dark, her senses reach outward. She feels the pulse of catfish sleeping beneath submerged roots, the faint electric hum of turtles stirring on the riverbed. For a moment, she slows, tilting slightly upward to taste the water. The scent of salt is faint now, replaced by the sweetness of earth and rain. She could go farther, deeper inland, but something calls her back. The pull of the tide, the vastness of the sea waiting beyond the delta. She turns, her wide head cutting through the current, and glides silently toward the open world once more. At dawn, the ocean greets her with warmth. The river mouth churns as tides and fresh water collide, sending plumes of silt spiraling outward beyond them. The water clears again, revealing the endless blue. The bull shark slips into it with a flick of her tail, the murky green behind her fading to the boundless clarity of the deep. She has crossed the line between two worlds and returned unchanged. Few creatures can claim such mastery. Far from the coast, in open water where sunlight burns white on the surface, another kind of gathering takes place. The sea seems empty at first, vast and still. But look closer, and movement appears. Hundreds of shadows weaving together, turning, circling in silent unison. Hammerhead sharks, dozens of them, forming a great school that moves like a single mind. Their heads, shaped like wings, sweep from side to side, sensing faint electric fields in the water. Each hammerhead reads the world with exquisite sensitivity, feeling not only prey, but the presence of its kin. No one knows why they gather in such numbers, perhaps to breed, perhaps for safety, perhaps simply because they can. The ocean offers few certainties, but in their movements there is purpose. The school drifts along a ridge of rock rising from the seafloor. Below them, deep blue stretches into infinity. Above, sunlight shatters into patterns that dance across their backs. Their long, slender bodies curve in perfect rhythm. When one turns, the others follow. A choreography written not by thought, but by instinct, ancient and precise. Among them, a single shark breaks away, gliding lower into the cooler water. She follows a faint scent, an injured tuna perhaps, or something smaller. Her movements are effortless, her power controlled. Hammerheads are among the most graceful of all sharks, their wide heads allowing them to maneuver with precision no other can match. When she turns, it is like the pivot of a bird's wing catching wind. She finds the source quickly, a flicker of silver caught between rocks, and with a single strike, it ends. Then she rises again, rejoining the slow circle of her kin, as if nothing had changed. Around the school, the sea hums with life. Small fish dart between the larger bodies, seeking safety. Rays rest on the sand below, their outlines barely visible. Farther down, moray eels twist through coral crevices, their eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. Above, seabirds dive, their cries muffled by water as they vanish and emerge again, droplets scattering like jewels. The hammerheads continue their drift through the open water. Some have traveled hundreds of miles to be here, following unseen routes known only to them. The currents that guide them also carry life. The plankton, the fish, the invisible threads of the ocean's web. Each movement of the tide ties one creature to another, and the sharks move at its center, both hunters and keepers of the balance. As midday fades, the water glows with the soft haze of sunlight filtering from above. The hammerhead school thins, its members peeling away one by one into the blue. Soon, only a few remain, their shapes growing smaller as they descend toward the shadowed reef. The last rays of light catch on their fins before they vanish completely, leaving only the endless shimmer of the sea. Far away, the bull shark has reached open water again. She swims steadily, following the continental shelf where the seabed drops into deep darkness. The world here feels wider, emptier, yet it hums with quiet energy. Every sound travels farther in the open sea. The call of distant whales, the crackle of shrimp far below, the sigh of waves breaking miles away. She moves within that music, attuned to every vibration, every echo. The day begins to wane, the light dimming into the soft glow of evening. The ocean turns silver once more, and with it comes a stillness. The bull shark glides just beneath the surface, her fins slicing the water for a moment before disappearing again. In the distance, dolphins leap, their silhouettes backlit by the fading sun. The sea breathes, the tide turns, and the cycle begins anew. Beneath it all, deeper than the light can reach, the hammerheads rest in the dark hollows of the reef. They drift in slow motion, their gills opening and closing like quiet bells nearby. Smaller reef sharks patrol the coral slopes, their shadows sliding over sea fans and sponges that wave gently in the current. Farther off, the sand lies undisturbed except for the faint trails left by passing rays and crabs. Night returns once again, wrapping the ocean in velvet. Stars shimmer on the surface, and below, their reflections dance on the backs of sleeping sharks. The sea seems endless, but everything within it is connected. The great wanderers of the deep, the reef dwellers, the river travelers, the giants and the hunters, they all move to the same ancient rhythm, the heartbeat of the water itself. And as the world above drifts into sleep, the sharks continue their eternal passage through the dark, silent guardians of the ocean's dream. The day lingers on the water like a held breath. Heat shimmers across the surface, and the sea turns a softer blue, thick with light. Beneath it, the world slows. The hammerheads have faded into the deep haze below, and the reef quiets after the morning's rush. Currents curl around the slopes of coral and spill outward across the open plain. For a time, the ocean seems to rest, as though even its endless pulse must pause to gather strength. In the distance, a faint rumble vibrates through the water, a thunderhead forming far above. The sound rolls downward, softened by depth, until it becomes little more than a tremor that stirs the sand. The reef sharks sense it, adjusting their paths, their movements small and sure. They do not fear the storm. To them, it is part of the ocean's breathing, a change in rhythm rather than a threat. Rain begins to fall on the surface. From below, it looks like the sea has turned to glass, and thousands of silver beads are dancing upon it. Each drop sends tiny ripples downward, patterns of light that shimmer across the fins of the sharks as they pass beneath. For a moment, it seems as if the sky and the ocean are speaking to each other in secret code, one made of falling water, the other of endless reply. A young blacktip shark swims near the shallows, tracing the edge where sunlight breaks into gold ribbons through the waves. It follows the shapes of small fish that dart in and out of coral branches. The young shark moves with curiosity, not hunger. It is learning the textures of its world, the resistance of the current, the subtle changes in pressure, the way sound bends through water. In time, it will grow larger and faster, but for now it simply glides, letting the sea teach it what no parent ever could. Farther offshore, where the coral gives way to sand and the sand to blue emptiness, another shadow drifts alone. A tiger shark, its flanks striped faintly with darker bands that fade and return with each flicker of light. It is heavy and powerful, yet its movements are unhurried. The tiger shark is a wanderer of coasts, moving between islands, following the drift of currents and the scent of tides. It feeds on almost anything the sea offers, but it takes only what it needs, then disappears again into the vastness. As it passes over the sandy plain, rays of light fall through the water in columns, revealing the delicate dance of plankton that turns slowly in the current. The shark tilts slightly, its eye catching the shimmer of a jellyfish pulsing nearby. For a moment, the two creatures float side by side, one built of muscle and ancient bone, the other of soft translucence and light. They share the same water, the same moment, and then drift apart without a sound. The afternoon deepens. Shadows grow longer beneath the waves, and the surface above flickers with the movement of clouds. Schools of fish gather tighter, forming shifting walls of silver that twist and scatter at the approach of a passing shape. Predators and prey move together in a dance that never truly ends. Balance holds, as it always has. Along the edge of the reef, a nurse shark glides between coral spires. It passes close to a sea turtle resting on the sand. Neither reacts. Both are content, their worlds overlapping without conflict. Small rasa nibble at the turtle's shell, cleaning it in delicate movements. The nurse shark drifts by, its skin brushing the curtain of bubbles rising from a crevice, where trapped air escapes from beneath a ledge. The bubbles catch the sunlight and glisten like a trail of tiny stars. As the storm above moves away, the sea begins to settle again. The rain softens to a whisper, and the water takes on that rare stillness that comes only after the world has exhaled. The surface is smooth now, reflecting the first faint hints of evening light. In the distance, dolphins leap through the fading glow, their bodies catching the last of the sun before they disappear into shadow. The hammerheads, miles away, sense the shift. Their great school reforms, smaller now, their bodies outlined against the dimming surface as they rise from the depths. They swim together for a while, circling slowly, each turn catching the last spark of daylight. Then, as if in silent agreement, they separate once more, spreading into the darkening sea. Some head toward the open plain, others toward distant islands. Their silhouettes vanish one by one, leaving the water empty, save for the fading trails of disturbed plankton that sparkle briefly before going dark. Deeper still, the temperature falls. The water thickens with quiet. The only sounds are the low crackle of shrimp and the faint rumble of distant waves breaking over unseen reefs. A shadow moves across the sandy floor, a broad shape, graceful despite its size. A manta ray, wings unfurled, sweeping in slow, steady rhythm. Behind it trails a small group of reef sharks, following at a respectful distance, drawn by the ray's movement. They are not hunting. They are simply curious, companions in the long drift toward evening. Light fades further. The color of the sea shifts from blue to indigo, then to deep violet. The world becomes a place of outlines and murmurs, of things half seen and half imagined. The tiger shark turns east, following a faint current that carries cooler water from the deep. It passes over a bed of seagrass swaying like fields in the wind, its blades catching stray beams of dying light. Small crabs scurry below, leaving trails that the next wave erases. As the horizon dims, bioluminescence begins to bloom again. At first, only a few scattered sparks shimmer in the dark, but soon the sea is alive with light. Every movement leaves a trail of blue fire that glows and fades. The sharks become living constellations, their outlines traced in fleeting brilliance. Each flick of a fin ignites the water. Each turn writes a line of light that lingers before dissolving into the dark. A young reef shark breaks the surface for an instant, its fin slicing through the silver reflection of the moon before slipping beneath again. Above, the air is thick with night sounds, the cry of distant birds, the low hum of the wind moving across open water. Below, everything slows. The sea begins its nightly transformation, turning inward, resting. Somewhere on the edge of the continental shelf, the bull shark swims through a canyon of rock. Small fish scatter in her path, their bodies glowing with faint green light. The rock walls are covered in soft coral, gently swaying, each branch alive with tiny polyps reaching into the current. She glides through them like a shadow among trees. For a moment, the canyon opens into a wide plain, and she pauses, letting the current push past her. Above, the last traces of sunlight fade completely, and the ocean becomes a single, endless night. The storm is gone. The world is calm again. The sea breathes in long, slow waves that rise and fall, carrying with them the scent of life. The hammerheads are gone to deeper places. The tiger shark continues its solitary patrol. The rays drift downward to rest upon the sand. In every direction, motion slows until it seems as if time itself has begun to dissolve into water. And within that silence, the rhythm of the ocean continues. The tides pull, the currents turn, and somewhere in the deep, the first stars of bioluminescence shimmer once more. The sea waits for the moon to rise high above it, and the sharks wait with it, their eyes open, their bodies gliding gently through the dark. They are older than the storms, older than the continents, older than almost everything that breathes above them. Yet still, they move with grace. Their lives measured not by years, but by the unbroken continuity of the tide. They are memory made flesh, motion made eternal. The moon climbs higher, its light falling in silver paths across the calm sea. The bull shark turns toward the horizon. The reef sharks settle into their slow circuits beneath the coral. The tiger shark fades into the endless blue-black distance. The hammerheads drift into deep shadow, their wide heads tilting slightly as they feel the Earth's magnetic pull guiding them ever onward. The ocean exhales, and the world becomes quiet again. The night spreads across the sea like a vast sheet of ink, calm and endless. The stars above shimmer faintly, their reflections rippling on the skin of the water. Beneath the surface, the ocean glows in patches where plankton shimmer with blue light, stirred by the passing of unseen fins. The warmth of the day has faded, replaced by the slow breathing of the tide. The ocean sighs, and in that sigh, life moves quietly. In the deep below, the hammerheads drift, suspended in the cool darkness. Their great eyes remain open, but their movements slowed to little more than gentle pulses of the tail sharks do not sleep as we do. They rest by motion, gliding in long, unbroken circles that keep the water flowing through their gills. Each turn is a breath, each breath a heartbeat, each heartbeat a whisper of time. Farther up, the reef sharks glide through the coral gardens, their silhouettes faint beneath the pale moonlight that filters down in trembling ribbons. Tiny fish hover near them, safe in the shadow of their calm presence. Even the smallest creatures seem to sense that tonight is still and peaceful. The reef, usually alive with clicks and murmurs, has softened into a low hum, a quiet lullaby carried by the current. In the open ocean, the bull shark moves once more. The tide carries her toward deeper waters, away from the scent of the river, away from the land entirely. The sea around her is vast, featureless, yet she knows her place within it. Every pulse of current, every shift of temperature, every faint vibration in the water tells her a story of where she is. She does not think of the journey ahead or behind. She simply moves, each moment enough on its own. Above her, the surface rolls gently. The moon drifts behind clouds, and for a while the world is lit only by the faint silver glow that seeps through the water. A whale song echoes somewhere in the distance, low, long, filled with sorrow and beauty. The sound travels for miles, threading through the sea like smoke. The bull shark tilts her head slightly, feeling the vibration pass along her skin, then straightens again. Even here, in the emptiness, she is not alone. Deeper still, where sunlight never reaches, the ancient ones roam. The frilled shark coils through the dark, its body long and sinuous, its gills flaring softly as it glides past rocks older than the continents themselves. The goblin shark drifts through the gloom, its jaw folding back into its strange, pale face. It moves like a shadow caught between worlds, patient, timeless. Around them, the lantern sharks pulse with faint light, stars scattered across the sea floor. To see them all together is to glimpse the ocean's memory, stretching back through ages of ice and fire, life and silence. And far above them, near the surface where the waves whisper against the air, the whale shark drifts. Its massive body glides just beneath the water, the pattern of its skin glowing softly in the moonlight. Around it, plankton bloom in faint spirals of color, turning the sea into a galaxy of drifting stars. The giant's eye turns slowly, ancient and knowing. It has no thought of past or future, only the rhythm of water moving through its gills, the pulse of life flowing endlessly on. Nearby, a smaller shadow passes, a reef shark, curious, perhaps drawn by the glow of plankton stirred by the giant's motion. For a moment, they swim side by side, two creatures separated by size but joined by the same simplicity of purpose. Then the reef shark turns away, fading into the blue haze below, leaving the whale shark to its silent pilgrimage. The world above the sea is asleep now. On distant shores, the waves break softly against sand, carrying the faint scent of salt and kelp into the night. The stars drift across the sky as they always have, reflected in the slow rise and fall of the tide. The ocean seems endless, yet everything within it moves in harmony. The sharks, the fish, the plankton, the unseen billions of tiny lives that make up the sea, all are part of the same breath. The water cools as the night deepens. In the far distance, the faint glow of dawn begins to stir, a blush of color hidden beneath the horizon. The sharks feel it before it arrives. They sense the change in pressure, in light, in the hum of the currents. Slowly, their movements quicken again. The bull shark turns toward the shallows, where the day's hunt will begin anew. The reef sharks rise from the coral shadows, gliding upward to meet the warming sea. The hammerheads stretch their circle wider, their schooling rhythm growing stronger as the first rays of light touch their fins. Even the whale shark stirs, its massive tail sweeping once, twice, pushing it toward the golden surface. The dawn breaks, and the ocean turns to liquid light. The surface flashes with color, gold, rose, turquoise, and the shadows of the sharks fade into brightness. The sea is alive again, humming with the sound of morning, filled with the movement of countless lives beginning their day. The world awakens, but below it all, the deep remains calm. The slow heartbeat of the ocean continues, steady as always. For every shark, the journey goes on. The great white, far from here, follows a cool current into distant waters. The hammerheads begin their long migration along the ridges of the sea floor. The reef dwellers patrol the coral cities, weaving between the growing light. The bull shark will return again to her river. When the tide calls her back, the whale shark will follow the plankton trails across oceans that have no borders. They do not think of time or distance or purpose. They simply move, each moment guided by the same quiet truth, that life flows forward like the tide, never ending, never still. In that rhythm, there is peace. As the sun climbs, the ocean shimmers in every direction, endless and bright. From above, the water looks still, but beneath the surface, the world is alive with motion. The slow pulse of fins, the drift of plankton, the steady glide of shadows older than the stars. The sharks continue their eternal passage, guardians of the deep, keepers of balance, wanderers in a realm without walls. And so the ocean dreams on. Beneath its surface, beneath its silence, the rhythm of life endures, unbroken, eternal, vast. The tides breathe in, and the tides breathe out. The sharks move through the deep, and the sea holds them gently, forever. Soft fade of waves, and low ambient tones, leaving only the sound of slow water and distant echoes. Good night, traveller of the sea. Good night, dreamer in the dark. The ocean is still here, waiting, breathing, endless. Sleep well.